because you have good trainers, and then you have snake oil salesmen.
Yeah.
Essentially, and then there's a wide variety.
Hey everybody, welcome to Whiskey, Lead, and Steel, Feeling Short While You Wait, the official podcast of Aggressive Defensive Solutions. I'm Rick, and it's just after second Saturday series in October, and I'm joined by our good friends, Matt and Marcee. You can probably figure out which is which. So they've come out here, and they've agreed to sit and chat with us and give us some of their ideas and some of their viewpoints. So I hope you find this as entertaining as I'm sure we're going to. If we would, ladies first, Marcee, if you would introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and where they can find you.
Sure. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me here. My name is Marcee. You can find me on Instagram, Marcee.Mae, M-A-E. But I am from Wilmington, North Carolina. And yeah, I'm here and excited to talk to you today about it.
Outstanding. And Marcee's a competitive shooter. We'll get into some of that. Matt, tell us about yourself. Where are you? Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, occasionally Twitter, or what is it, X now. I'm just fridge operator. It's all just one word. You go on there, and I just really enjoy guns and just post it up. I come down here about 3 to 4 times every year, and it's a fun experience. So, I also write for the firearm blog, so I do a lot of that, and then I work with some other companies on some development and stuff like that. So I got my hands in a lot of different cookie jars.
Cool. So you say come down here. Let's let everybody know in case you don't know. We're based out of Tidewater, Virginia, the Norfolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach area. And where did you come from?
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
So. Grand Rapids, Michigan. And how far a drive is that for you to come shoot?
About 12 and a half hours one way.
12 and a half hours one way to come shoot with us. Well, thank you. That's awesome. I don't know exactly how I would be willing to drive 12 and a half hours to do something. But hey, I'm glad you're doing it, man. Thanks for coming out. So you guys came out and shot with us today, second Saturday. Of course, you guys have been out with us before and trained with us and shot with us before. So real quick, Marcee, tell us, what got you into shooting competitively and how you ended up shooting with us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm kind of backing up a little bit. Before I shot competition shooting, I knew absolutely nothing about guns, right? But I wanted to get the education. I wanted to get the training in. So that kind of led me from where I was in my career. So I'm a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. So I was meeting a lot of people, a lot of new faces every day. I'd go into houses, not knowing, who I'd be meeting and things like that. And, as a female, it's a little intimidating, right? It's always a worry, right? Yeah. Meeting somebody new. And so I wanted to better arm myself and to be prepared just in case something in the event that I do have to help defend myself. So I wanted to seek out some training, and I found you guys actually through Practice Score. So I started searching online. There was not too much training in my area, especially at an outdoor facility, and somebody that had great experience as far as defensive type of training and expertise. And so I had found you all, and so yeah, I traveled about 4 hours to come up to Moyock area. I met you and the team, and we took a training together and absolutely fell in love with it. I loved everything that you had and involved in the class, everything we worked through. I learned so much from it, and I kind of got addicted to it. So nice. I kept coming back, and I think it was like the 3rd month that I had come back. You had told me about your competition shooting that you have, and I wanted to get involved with that. And you really encouraged me to sign up for it and give it a try, and yeah, absolutely loved it.
And so you've been away shooting and stuff, shooting competitions. So where have you been out slaying it? Because I understand you're out there kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah, so the couple years that we've been training together, you've really helped kind of push me to get more involved in the shooting community. So I've been in USPSA. I've shot a little bit of IDPA, some outlaw matches and some 2-gun matches, things like that. But yeah, everywhere from anything local to a couple major matches. Area 6, I shot up at SIG, went down to Florida, all kinds of places.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's outstanding. That's a cool adventure. That's how cool is that?
It's fun.
Cool. Well, we are super happy that we met you, and we're super happy to be involved with what's going on. Yours is the kind of success story that really is why we build our company. This is what we want to do. Having the effect on people where they come out and they get confident, and then it just opens these doors.
Mhm.
It opens doors, opens a whole new world up to you. I'm glad you're enjoying that. We follow you, and we're proud to see what's going on. You're doing a great job.
Well,
so.
well, thank you. And it kind of started off. I really wanted to learn more of the defensive side, and I knew that from what you were teaching in class and things like that, to really test those skills with the competitive shooting. So that's why I really got involved with that.
Competition's a great test bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And not just for your skills, but also for your training regimen.
Mm-hmm.
And that there's so much to it that people just don't understand. That they go, oh, you're just under shooting holes in paper. There's a little more to it than that. Yeah. So Matt, how did we luck out into meeting you? What led to that?
So, I put up. I always like to look for good training. I like to look for interesting, dynamic shooting, things like that. In the past, I've taken vehicle training, just something that's fun. Shoot houses, dynamic, situations where you got to figure things out, stuff like that. And so I just put a poll up. Hey, what are some different places we should check out? And I think you sent me a message and was just like, hey, these guys down at Academy are doing some interesting things. If you have time, you should check it out. So the more I looked at it, I was really interested, with your prior knowledge and work experience and everything. I said, all right, let's give it a shot. So drove down, got to stay at Academy. I thought that was cool. The whole experience. Did second Saturday. What was it? It was
sometime last year.
It was a year and a half ago, something like that. And did the second Saturday, had a ton of fun. You brought out different guns for different stages that we had to shoot. Shooting from platforms, things like that, with the second house and everything. It was cool. And then the training was really solid. It was a bunch of things. You have a way of taking very simple concepts that you don't think about, right? When you're learning how to, footwork, things like that, and you just start from the ground up. So I did that, and just the sheer amount that you could shoot in those 2 days, I liked because, writing for a firearm blog, you have to test various items, and that did happen. It wasn't the first time, but the second time that I came down, we either had a tropical storm roll through or something.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And I had a gun on loan.
Yeah,
it was an Empire Point Man. It's kind of excessive. It had gold, it had brass parts, and it was flashy. And we were doing, ground, we were learning how to shoot on the ground, and we got poured on.
Yeah.
And you start getting dirt and grime and grit into your holster, and I absolutely destroyed that gun. So that was one that I had to buy 100%, but it was worth it. But it's great if you got to, testing firearms and learning, and I'm doing my job and I get to learn skills. It's what people dream of. So I can't complain. But no, it's been fun, and it's always interesting. It's different. It's not stale, and that's why I keep coming back. So that's You initially asked why I travel, 12, 13 hours. It's because it's interesting. It's something different. You can't find it every day.
Yeah. Well, and of course we'd been laughing over pizza earlier about so what brought you down here? Well, the ability to come down here and shoot the Blackwater facility. Well, that can't be discounted. At the end of the day, as I've told you guys, I've told folks before, I worked at Blackwater when it was Blackwater from October of '99. As it was ramping itself, I was really getting rolling, and then I worked for them up until 2007.
Yeah.
And of course, in the meantime, AgDef Saul got born, and we worked through there. But it was a great place to work on so many levels. The things that you could do there, the ranges that were there, and the things that you could do there, and then the bigger thing too was the people that I worked with. You had this wide swath of people that came from different walks of life and different backgrounds and different experience levels and different operational levels and different operational positions. And then the whole thing was a lab. I don't know if I told you this, but when tannerite first became the big thing that everybody's talking about, right? We all chuckle about that. So a bunch of us knuckle draggers are down at Blackwater, and Gary Jackson comes in and goes, hey, what does anybody know about this tannerite stuff? Well, I don't know. So they said, this is what it is. They explained it to us. We're like, well, what can it do? Well, I don't know. Let's go see what it can do. So we got paid. We went out and we played with tannerite for like a week. mixing stuff up, coming up with shit. Remember the old Isuzu Troopers? The big
Yeah.
funky looking ones? So we took a pert shampoo bottle and filled it with tannerite and stuck it under the headrest on the driver's door on range 7.
Yeah.
And went back to the 100-yard line and popped it with a 5.56. And not only did it just destroy the entire inside of the vehicle, but it blew the windshield all the way over onto range 8.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, oh, pay attention to that. So then we're like, well, what else can it do? So we took another bottle down,
Yeah.
stuck it amidships underneath it, and shot it. And it literally flipped this thing up over and landed it on its top side.
Just totally.
Oh yeah, I mean, just literally like King Kong picked it up and slammed it on its top. It
Yeah.
was just amazing. So then we're like, okay, well, what other things can we do with this? How can we activate this? Blackwater Security was heavily involved in what was going on downrange, and so the problem solving that comes out of that. So we said, okay, well, here's what we can do. We'll take some tannerite, mix it, put an IR tape in it, and embed it in the wall that is a likely shooting position against us if you're downrange. And then, as they refer to them as the booger eaters, come out there and start shooting at us from where we know is a good place to shoot. Light them up with an IR and pop that thing and detonate a half a pound of tannerite next to John Q. Bad Guy. But we had we took about a shot glass full of tannerite, took it down, set it on the range, and then we put an AR 500 head plate on top of it and shot it with a 5.56. And the boss of the company for a long time used it as either a soup bowl or an ashtray. I mean, it just concave. It was crazy.
Wow.
But yes, I mean, some of the cool stuff that was out there. So you're absolutely right. The ability to come down here and train at the academy facility. The facilities are amazing. It's nowhere near as busy as it was. And, part of that is the
Times have changed.
Times have changed, and so many of those companies and so many of those facilities became victims of their own success.
Yeah.
Because the military guys came and trained, and then they were like, "Oh, we could do this at Fort Bragg." So then that's what happened.
Yeah.
But but it's really cool to be able to train down there and do the stuff that we do.
And like I was telling you, when we were eating earlier, I was 8 years old when you started at Blackwater. And when the global war on terror kicked off,
thanks, man.
it's just a great, right? And people my age and Marcee's age, we couldn't enlist. We weren't old enough,
Yeah.
So it was one of those things that we grew up watching everything, and it was just. And I told you earlier, I remember watching the cheesy, patriotic infomercials from Blackwater. I'm like, man, those guys are the coolest dudes. So it's just one of those things to be able to go and train at the facility with a real trainer.
Yeah.
It can't be overlooked.
Yeah, and it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of fun.
So we know how you got involved in shooting. So other than your, the average guy from, the Great White North,
it was one of those. My parents were pretty loose with whatever I watched. So I was 7 years old watching Die Hard movies.
That's cool.
And I just the gun culture I just soaked up, and basically how that started. I just watched it, and I remember I had probably 7-8 BB guns, and I would shoot them out and get another one. And I started shooting them when I was so young I couldn't lift it up. The gun was so low.
Wow.
I had to shoot from the hip, so that's how I started. And then my uncle took me out, and I had a good old Yugo SKS.
Oh, wow.
That was the first gun I ever shot, was a Yugo SKS. And then we started with a Gen 2 Glock 17. And then a 44 mag. I don't know how that jumped. It was a Ruger Blackhawk that was converted to 44.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know how. That's what he told me. It's probably just a regular 44. And then it just progressed. Saved up enough money. My first handgun was a HK USP Compact.
Nice.
And, I worked my tail off for that. And I picked it up because my hands weren't fully, I think it was 13.
Yeah.
I had a summer job for 3 years and did that. And then shot IDPA all through high school, all through college. And then kind of went away from it. But then I still loved guns,
Mhm.
you know, and shooting and everything, and just kind of kept building my collection. And when I got into college, I hated social media, which is hilarious now.
Yeah.
You know, just really wanted to start with everybody else. Everybody else was on social media. I said, why not? Why not give it a shot? A buddy of mine said he'd get to 1,000 followers first. I said, okay. And the rest is history. I just started posting pictures of my different firearms and everything, and now I'm at 125,000.
That's awesome.
And I
dude.
can't explain how.
Wow.
Just
That's awesome, dude.
so it's been blind luck. I don't know, fate, something like that, but it's been fun.
Well, a wise guy once said that luck is where preparation and opportunity intersect.
Yeah.
So I'm a big believer that if you work hard and you lean into the traces and you focus,
Yeah.
you get where it is that you want to be. That's been my experience over the last 50 some years.
I would agree. It's
Yeah.
just, you know, I think, opportunity is everything. And if you can you just got to start, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have something you want to do, just start.
So cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. But it's always a good time coming down, meeting new people. We always have interesting people at the, both the second Saturday and the two-gun after party.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just go, one of my favorite things is to walk through on the two-gun and see who's running what.
Yeah.
Because you have everything from a stock 16-inch, you know, with a clamshell. I didn't even know you could get ARs. I saw one today. Had a traditional clamshell, and I was like, all right.
I got one of those laying around.
Yeah. But the guy did great.
Yeah.
You know?
I think somebody had an AK today too.
So he had
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
That
a
was
parts
cool.
AK that
Yeah,
was
with a full wood stock and everything. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, look at this. This is 19. This guy looks like he just came in from Red Dawn.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
original one with the sways.
Somebody else had the Steyr AUG, which I
Yeah.
fully kitted out Steyr AUG, and I was like, what is going on?
And he was a young dude.
Yeah.
Because typically, so
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know what it is, the Steyr AUG was the original big time bullpup. And crazy expensive back in the day.
Yeah.
And they haven't imported any in forever in the damn day. So it's a cool gun, but it's a museum piece.
Yeah.
And I was like, where did this young guy get
Yeah.
a Steyr
He's got an
AUG?
IR laser and an aim point right
Yeah.
down.
You did well with it.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
But-
he shot well.
Did you see he was C-clamping that? That was
Yeah.
one of the most interesting. So they have vertical grips that are built in, and then you just pop them down.
Yeah.
And he was running it folded up, and he was C-clamping it just like a regular AR. I was like,
Yeah.
That's why I enjoy coming down here. Because
Yeah.
you just see the most interesting things, and it all worked. It wasn't
Yeah.
like it was stupid. It was
Yeah.
thought out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I always find it interesting to see how it is that people prioritize what they've got going on.
yeah,
And like with rigs, we were talking earlier about, you know, everybody wants to get the new cool stuff, and like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But then you look at it and you go, well, I get why you bought that, but it's not how that's supposed to work. Why are you when it's so? Yeah, it's always funny to see how that goes. And then you come over and you go, have you tried about this? And they go, oh yeah, it's supposed to be turned that way.
yeah, yeah.
It's good stuff though. And of course I like being there I like being there when people have light bulb moments.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
so as an instructor, I like to be there when the student has a light bulb moment. But as just an observer of human beings, I kind of like to be there when somebody and watch somebody go, oh, holy crap!
Yeah.
This is a whole nother thing. This whole different thing. And I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I find that interesting. So, Marcee, what do you like best about competitive shooting?
About competitive shooting in general.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's addictive. Just I will say I think it's because and we were kind of talking a little bit earlier on like the boost in confidence, right? So I started off not even knowing how to load a magazine, right? And through progression and through building and things like that, I think the confidence that comes from, doing something to the best of your ability, and then either you succeed or you fail, right? And so if you're succeeding at something, right, that's, you can celebrate those wins, and that's very rewarding. That's why we all do it. And then there's those moments where, okay, this is something that I can improve in, right? So for me, I guess it's finding my, finding the big why, finding why I'm doing what I'm doing, the reasoning why I'm doing what I'm doing, and then it's just very rewarding for me. So I think that the best part of it is not only the running and gunning and things like that, but it's being able to ultimately shoot well and shoot as fast as I can, right? And yeah, I mean, it's kind of the big goal in it. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt? What do you like best about competitive shooting?
I like the fact that you can, in certain stages, and with Second Saturday, you have simple stages that are still, like today you had to shoot there's a dueling tree with the 4 targets and you had 4 shots to make it. It's very straightforward, very simple, but it's not as simple as some people think, right? They walk up and you miss 3 out of the 4 shots and people are like, I don't know what happened. I like the fact that you can be challenged and you can push yourself and say, where is my speed limit? Where is the limit where right now, this is my 100%, while still maintaining hits. I like the fact that you can, in a safe environment, figure out where your limits are.
Yeah.
And then you can break that down and say, okay, this is what I'm good with, this is what needs improvement, and then you just rinse and repeat and just keep building off of it. It's not, and it is fun, right? It's competitive. I like the fact that there's some skin in the game. You want to perform well. I do enjoy that. But it's really, if you're serious about shooting, what is my strength and what do I need to work on? And then you start separating, right? And then whenever something goes from needing work to good, you just keep dividing. That's what I like. Because it's a safe environment where people can tell me, hey, get your act together. Or, hey, this is what you're doing wrong. Where instead of going to the range and just rinsing and just having bad habits repeat themselves, you're not building bad habits. It can be corrected while you're trying to go 100%. Long answer, but that's...
No, that's absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. So we talked about this earlier too, and I'm always interested in getting people's insight and getting people's perspective on stuff. So for both of you, answer as you want. How do you go about looking for and determining whether or not you want to get training from an organization or from a person? What's kind of your locating and then vetting process for that? How do you figure that out?
You can go first.
So with me, I have a little bit different situation because I know more people gun related than most, so I can just usually ask around. That's the first thing I do. Hey, the people that travel and train and shoot for their job, that's who I'll start with. What have you heard about X trainer? Are they good? Is it worth the price? Things like that. It really starts to get murky when you don't know what, and if you're just coming in, right? You just bought your first gun. You're a woman who wants to protect themselves, and you don't know who a good trainer is. That's when the water starts to get gray really fast. Because you have good trainers, and then you have snake oil salesmen.
Yeah.
Essentially, and then there's a wide variety. There's a spectrum.
Yeah.
Some people are better but want to make money. Some people just want to make money and have no actual skills to offer.
Yeah.
So that's where it gets hard with me. I always try to read reviews. Occasionally you'll find training reviews, which I think more companies, publishing companies should do. That's one that I like to do just because I can tell people firsthand, hey, this is the positive experience I had in this class. The instructor's cocky, but he's really knowledgeable and he can be serious and professional when he needs to be, but he makes the class fun otherwise. It's that insight that you can kind of gauge, is this instructor right for me? So I wish more companies did that, but if you do, Google searches, reviews, things like that, there's material out there. It's just hard to find and kind of go through the weeds in it. But that's me. I don't know if you have something different.
So I guess, at the time when I first started looking for trainers, again, there wasn't too many in my area that I knew of. And when I had seeked out that training, right? I tried different avenues, things like that. I came across you on Practice Score, and I think what really helped sway me to come and take the training was, I don't know if you remember, but I had actually called you on the phone, and I had a couple questions about the class and things like that, and you know, I knew it was like 4 hours away. I wanted to make sure I was prepared ahead of time, things like that. And you were just so friendly on the phone, so nice, so welcoming, right? And you know, being
I'm not paying her to say
no,
that.
I'm serious. No, I tell everybody this.
People are like,
I
Rick was
know.
nice to you.
I know, if you take his training, you know, no. No, but I had called you, and you were so polite and you were so nice, and you know, being a woman in the industry, you get the people that, like, you know, dismiss you very easily, right? Or you know, oh, it's just another woman, you know, you get it all the time. And I don't know, for some reason when I had called you and we had that conversation, I was like, okay, this is somebody I'm very excited to take training from. And so that was really huge for me. And that's, you know, I kind of, if I do seek out other training now, yes, I will look at their, you know, quote unquote credentials, right, to see what kind of background that they have, depending on what type of training I'm looking for. So if it's something like from a competitive standpoint, okay, well, what kind of achievements has this person acquired and things like that? How long have they been training? Reviews are really big. So that's what I'll look for. Word of mouth, things like that. So, but yeah.
Cool. Excellent. Good. That's what we're looking for. If you're watching and you're trying to figure out how to go about getting some good training, hey, if all else fails, just cold call them and go, hey, what do you guys do? I mean, I think most people who are paying attention, most people who are interested, most people who are paying attention to what's going on, and especially you've got your own skin in the game, you're spending your money, your time, energy, effort. If you call somebody, you should probably get a sense pretty quick whether or not, you know, they're full of shit, and whether or not you want to spend any time with them. And it's funny that you mentioned, this guy's cocky, but he's a wealth of knowledge. I have worked with guys over the years, and it's not a dig on them, it's just one of those things you got to go. I've worked with guys who are just encyclopedic in their knowledge. And if you can handle their quirks, then you can get a huge education from them. There was a guy, I knew him prior to the Blackwater days. He was at Blackwater. And he and I crossed paths there briefly, but I knew him before that. And he was a legendary teams guy. He was a phenomenal shooter. He's a fucking amazing shooter. In fact, I watched him run a plate rack drill with a Remington 870 against a guy with a Benelli. And he beat the guy with the Benelli. The guy was just amazing, right? But he had no qualms at any point in time, in any set of circumstances, telling you just how fucked up you are. And it's not like he would go, hey, you know, you could probably shave a few seconds off if you would just change this way and do this. He'd go, you are so fucked up. What is wrong with you? Why, you know, and you're like, well, what am I doing wrong? Well, if you would do this instead of that, you'd be fine. And you do it, and you'd be fine. You go, see? You're like, well, you got a bedside manner like Frankenstein's monster. But the guy knew stuff, and you know, he was a phenomenal diagnostic shooter. So he could watch you shoot, and then he was caustic about how he told you, you know, you need to be improved. But he would go, X, Y, and Z. I'm like, okay. And then you do what he told you to do, and you shave time. You'd be more accurate. So it's always interesting to run into folks and to get people's perspective. Because if you told my kids that you called and talked to me on the phone without knowing me and said, oh, he seemed like a really nice guy, and he was very, and so I thought I'd drive 4 hours to go train with him. My kids would be like,
who the hell did she talk to?
Ardat? The guy who always looks like he wants to punch you in the face? Which people say that about me all the time. I'm like, I don't know. But, so it's funny, but I have called people and talked to them and gone, I think I'm just going to wait on this. And then I go talk to somebody else who took a class, you know, somebody whose opinion matters to me. And And I typically don't make my opinion based on other people's opinions.
Yeah.
But if I know you and I trust your opinion and you go, I think that's not good. Like, well, I don't know it's not good. But I trust that person.
Yeah.
So it's probably not good.
Yeah.
And they've come back and they've gone, oh yeah, dude, I took a class from this guy and it was a freaking nightmare and I wasted my time. So yeah, well, I'm glad it worked out. And I'm glad that, I'm glad you've gone on this adventure because now you get to come back and you get to share the stories with us. And then, that's all information that realistically, because we do this, we read the critiques, we pay attention. I leave my ego at the gate all the time because the only way I can be a better instructor is to find out what I'm doing wrong. Yeah. It's nice when people go, oh, the class was absolutely great and it was fantastic. And I go, okay, there's got to be some room for improvement.
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt my feelings. Tell me, Now, fortunately, they go, well, it was hot. Well, I don't have any control over that one.
Yeah.
So, to get your input, we pay attention to it.
Yeah.
That's how we build the classes. That's how we get better. That's how I get better as an instructor.
Well, after taking so many, training classes with you, like, yes, and you are a very nice person. I wouldn't take any training with somebody that wasn't, that was too much of a hard ass, right?
Yeah.
But you have a level of seriousness and you break it down to a level where it's like, okay, this is when we get in the mindset that we need to get in the mindset of, right? Because if this, and this happens, you need to be in that mindset, right? So, when we're shooting and people are taking training and things like that, it should be fun, right? Because that's why we're doing it, right?
Yeah.
Some people view it as a sport. I sometimes see it as a sport whenever I'm shooting it competitively. But there are times when you should view it as something that is a serious event that could potentially save your life. And I think you do a really good job at keeping that level of seriousness and making sure that people are aware when we're training, this is why we're training it this way.
Cool. Well, I know my whole crew feels that way, and that's
everybody in your crew does.
That's an organizational ethos that we have, so that works out well.
And I just like the fact that you build, so you start with something like footwork, right? And I remember, I'm just going off the first class that I took with you. It was basically how to pivot and then how to do your footwork. And then you built off, hey, okay, so we're going to use this, and then we're going to incorporate another skill. And then you build off that. You build a foundation. Where I've taken other classes, and there's a very well-known company that does it nationally, where they put 30 IPSC targets up and said, hey, put 2 rounds and take your AR. We're going to start on one side, and you're going to put 2 rounds into each target and walk the entire length of the range, and then you're going to stop. And for the life of me, I still can't figure out the purpose of that.
Yeah.
Where everything, through training with a good instructor, you can see exactly where the points connect.
Yeah.
And that's one of the better ways to figure out if you have a good trainer or not. Are you burning rounds because there's a set round count? Or are you using those rounds to learn a skill? And that's the big difference, I think, between the two.
Yeah.
But
I mean, every class I've been to with Rick, it's like my mind is a sponge. I try to take in as much as I can because he's so full of good information and good tips. No, I'm serious. I know. I'm not.
Lee's gonna edit this. He is so full of, and Lee's gonna bullshit. Lee's gonna put that in there. Even if he doesn't block out your voice, I bet he puts it.
I don't know if this video will ever be made because Lee's eyes will fall out of his head rolling back because of you. So thank you.
Oh my goodness. No. Yeah. No, Lee's training is superb. But I think pretty much every training that I've been in with you guys, Lee has been there as well, and he's if you don't catch something right away, he's on it. I mean, just your whole team is phenomenal, and I've taken some training where I have come away very disappointed, and I have had moments where I really wish that the time and the energy that I spent into the class, I would have attained a lot more than what I did. And I've never, ever had that thought with AgDef Soul. So, yeah.
Well, we appreciate that.
Plus, Jeremy's always interesting to watch. Because you never know what he's going to say.
Neither does he.
Yeah, I think that's
what
makes it.
Jeremy's a hoot. Jeremy started shooting with us at Second Saturday, like 7-8 years ago, and he was a 3-gun shooter.
Okay.
Oh,
And
cool.
he showed up, and we're like, "Who is this guy?" And then he grew in, and his personality and his mindset really
Yeah.
fit in with us. Like Adrian.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Adrian, the first time I met Adrian shows up to shoot in Second Saturday series at the old facility in like May or June, and he's wearing a suit and like dress shoes
Yeah.
and a suit and a tie.
Adrian.
Adrian, yeah. We're like,
Oh wow.
I'm like, who is this cat in a coat and tie out here on the range? So, hey, how you doing? Yeah. So the next month he comes out and dressed the same way again. So I was like, I gotta talk to this cat. So I walked over and said, hey, I'm excited. So of course, he's a former jarhead. We can smell our own. So we start doing the whole jarhead thing. And I go, so what's the deal here? And he goes, fight like train like fight. This is what I wear at work. And I was like, all right, right off the get-go,
Yeah.
you have earned points. And then the whole conversation went from there, and then it became one of those whole things where like-minded individuals.
Mhm.
Again, part of the thing that I always did when I was training Blackwater training, and when I train people now, if I come out and I'm training a SWAT team for somebody, I come out and wear SWAT gear, so we're doing all the same stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm teaching a defensive handgun class for concealed carry, I'm not wearing a drop rig for that,
Yeah.
because that's not concealed carry. I'm going to wear my concealed carry rig. I'm going to wear some kind of concealment over it, because as Adrian said, and I've been a big believer in this forever as well, is you train like you fight like you
Yeah.
train.
Yeah.
And
Don't you teach women concealed classes too, though?
oh yeah. So as a matter of fact, what's funny about that is, so we've got we have a group from the Women with Weapons Club out of Virginia
Yeah.
Beach, the W3. They do a bunch of training with us and a bunch of competitions and stuff. So I was out. It was funny. I was out there to talk to them about a competition we were running for them, and they had a class scheduled at the facility where they were working. Well, there was so there's a mix-up, and the guy who was supposed to teach the class, the company didn't notify me he was supposed to teach class. So it's 6:00, and they're waiting on their instructor.
And your instructor was a no-show?
And it's not his fault.
Yeah, but he didn't
But his
know.
fault, so he didn't know.
Yeah.
So like, oh, we don't have anybody. So they've got everybody there, and they're like, yeah, well, we're waiting to hear about a class about home defense.
Mhm.
And so one of the guys who was working there, who's a friend of mine, retired cop, he was teaching another class. So he could teach. He goes, well, Rick knows all about that. You should have Rick teach the class. So they were like, well, will you? And I was like, sure. So I walked in cold, taught a class off the cuff.
Yeah.
Had a good time. Well, that led to some of the ladies said, we're new and we're not sure about carrying our guns in our purse, or where do we carry these things and how do we know this? And I said, well, you should take a class. So today, while we're on the range, my phone's blowing up and I'm like, hey, there's a bunch of us want to take a draw class. We want to know about, we want to come out and we want to practice drawing from our purses and drawing from all these other things and see if they work, so that, because you tell people, and this happens, and you go, don't carry your gun in your purse. It's not a good idea, and here's why.
Yeah.
And they go, you don't know because you don't carry a purse, which I don't. And then they go, okay. But every now and again, and we've all had this somewhere along, I know you've had this as a real estate agent, at some stage you go, well, we don't have to do that, and you go, yeah, you do. And like, no. And then it bites them in the ass. So then it happens, they go, oh, okay, so I'm going to go out and buy a $500 concealed carry purse. And then I go, all right, come out, and then they get their purse out, and then I pull their purse off their arm. Like,
Yeah.
now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Now what are you going to do? Now you lost your $1,000 timber and your $500 purse. So that's not a good idea.
Well, the problem is it's associated with a monetized item, right?
Yes.
People don't think there's a gun in there, but they think there's a wallet, there's money,
Yeah.
Yep.
there's,
Yeah. But my thing about drawing from a purse is, and I'm, I've already hurt people's feelings with this, so I don't give a shit. My feeling about drawing from a purse is the same as my feeling about drawing from an appendix carry.
Mm-hmm.
I got way bigger issues with appendix carry, but the number one thing that I cite about appendix carry for defensive purposes is nobody that I know of, I've tried it, Mac has tried it, everybody on the shooting team's tried it with it, my crew here has tried it. I have not been able to find anybody yet who can consistently do a one-handed appendix concealed draw. Right? So everybody who does appendix,
They use the left.
they do this.
Yep.
They grab their support hand,
Yep.
and they pull their shirt up and they get their gun out. I get it, right? Here's the thing. There is only one reason on the whole planet for you to make that motion if I'm robbing you.
Yeah.
And it's for you to pull your appendix carry gun.
Yeah.
And if I'm already pointing my gun at you,
Yeah.
you're already behind the power curve, and I go, give me your wallet. We both know when you do this,
Your wallet's
you're not going
there.
for your wallet.
Yeah.
So I just shoot you. So the whole thing about you having your gun just went out the window.
Yeah.
If you're carrying your purse, and none of the purse guns that I've ever seen open the flap and you reach in,
Yeah.
they're always reach through the body.
Yeah.
Well, there's really only one reason that you do that. And if I go, give me your purse, and instead of you opening your purse to hand me your wallet,
Yeah.
you reach into the zippered
yeah,
pocket.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that guys who do robberies, typically work at NASA, but they're also not typically dumb as a stump,
Yeah.
and they can probably figure out, something bad's getting ready to happen, and then there you are, already behind the power curve. So,
Yeah.
now I've said if I had the spare cash laying around, and the fashion sense, which I don't, I have no fashion sense. This is the kind of fashion sense I have. I can wear blue jeans and a polo shirt to the event, or I can wear a sports coat and a collared shirt to the event, or I just wear my Marine Corps dress blues. I shave my face, put on my blues. If it's that important, I'll just wear a uniform. It's easy to go, right? So, but I have said for years, if I had the spare money and the fashion sense laying around, I would develop concealed carry capable clothes for women. And
Yeah.
then I'd be able to buy a Maybach.
Yeah.
Because every woman I know who carries a concealed weapon, the very first thing they say about, I've decided to carry a gun for defensive purposes is, I've had to change the way I dress, and I'm not thrilled about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, guys, we're lucky.
Yeah.
We can either dress up nice and put a coat on, and we look okay, conceal our gun, or we can dress like this and hide our gun under our shirt, and
conceal.
and away you go.
Yeah.
But women, not so much.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
because she's starting to write, you told me earlier that you were writing for Ballistic Boss, and
Mhm.
you're starting to develop blogs for other companies now. So you just bought a belly band. You're buying a bunch of different types.
Different types of gear to help, because we're always wearing something different, right? And
Yeah.
the seasons change and clothing changes, things like that. And it is hard. And we're all
Yeah.
different, body sizes. We're all different. We're all made differently,
Oh, yeah.
right? And we all have different, firearms that we carry.
Mhm.
So, I have a firearm that I carry in the summertime versus something that I carry in the wintertime. And that's also based on, all of that. So,
Mhm.
so I've been experimenting a little bit with all the different types of gear that are out there. And there are some that I really like and that I lean towards. And there's not just one universal thing, right? So I have all these different holsters and all these different gadgets and gear and things to kind of help. But it is a change in your wardrobe. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned all the stuff that you got. So one of the things that Mac McLucky talks about when we have classes and they start talking about gears and new people come on and they go, well, what I carry? And Mac goes, be prepared to spend as much money on holsters as you did on the gun that you bought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You buy a $600 gun, you're going to buy $600 worth of holsters, finding the holster that you like. Because that's just how it works. You end up with a box of holsters.
And even if you find a company, right? You find that company that can make different models, and it's a setup that you like. If you keep buying them, you got to keep buying holsters.
Yeah.
And it's a vicious cycle that never stops.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It's a cool thing to get new gear. Right?
It is. Well, so like with me, so I run into this problem where most of the time if I go out and buy a new holster, I buy two of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm ambidextrous.
Yeah.
So I train left-handed.
Okay.
Okay.
Because from time to time I carry left-handed. So, but it's funny. We were having Lee and I were having a discussion. I think we did a podcast about it. We were talking about optics.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I'm an old fogey and yada yada. But the reality of it is, for me with optics, I've come to the understanding that because of the variety of firearms that I carry and utilize with fairly frequent, with great frequency, that if I went out and spent the time to get good with an optic on my defensive gun, I'd end up having to buy like 15 optics.
Yeah.
For the various guns that I use.
Yeah.
And it's just not viable for me.
Yeah.
So.
It's tough, yeah, especially if you're going to get quality.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's one of the things that we see at the competitions, because, spoiler alert, I have buckets of water at my competitions.
Yeah.
People like, you're going to do what? Well, I want you to put your Kimber with your optic in the bottom of the bucket of water. I couldn't do that and it'd get wet. You think?
So on mine, when you did that, I went and got another gun. I don't know if you ever caught that. This is me being truthful right now.
No.
I'm sorry, Lee, if you're editing this and you're disappointed. But I went out. I would not. It was a very expensive handgun with an optic and a light that had IR flashlight on it. And
Cheater.
I'm like, there's no way I'm putting this thing in that bucket of water. I went and got another gun with the same holster.
I gotta say this.
I can't do it.
I gotta say this. If it's that expensive, it ought to be water resistant.
Yeah, but it's like taking a Rolls Royce, down a 2-track, a rough 2-track. You just don't do it sometimes.
Well, you say that to a guy
Yeah.
who, because I'm a watch fiend, so I wear a watch for a month at a time.
Yeah.
So the first of the month I put a new watch on and I wear it all month, and I don't take it off.
Okay.
Which means I swim all of my watches,
Yeah.
shower all of my watches.
Yeah.
And when I was on the street, when I was a police officer, I used to wrestle with people in my watches. And I had somebody, I was in a fight with a guy at the boardwalk and I arrested this guy in the handcuff room. And my sergeant walks up and he goes, "Were you just rolling around on the ground with that guy wearing a Rolex?" And I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Are you shitting me?" I went, "No." He goes, "Why would you do that?" Because it's a Rolex.
Yeah.
It's designed to take that kind of beating.
Yeah.
My G-Shock is designed to take that kind of beating. If you're carrying something made by Trigicon, it ought to be able to go in the water.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So yeah,
I
but
know.
and that, of course, that's just me busting your chops because we're
I
friends.
could
But,
try it. I could try to do it. I just don't want to.
see, well, here's what you gotta do. You gotta get Trigicon to send you one.
Yeah.
Or send me one so I can write about it.
We already went
I'm
through
not
this.
putting mine in the water.
I already destroyed. Yeah, I destroyed one handgun in your class already.
Really put to the test.
So you still have that gun?
Yeah.
Did you get it Cerakoted?
No. So I talked to they were a little peeved with me, but it wasn't bad. And I was like, whatever, I'll buy it. It's not a big deal, and I apologized. And then they came out with a long 5-inch slide model for it. And because that one had, I think, either a 3.5 or a 4 1/4 on it. And I bought the 5-inch, and then I never shot it. And I just put it, it's got a brand new slide on it. The frame's not scratched. The slide took every single bit of the punishment.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up buying the full-size 5-inch model that had the same optics cut on it. And the optic that I bought on the demo model.
Well, if you want, you send me that slide and we'll do it up like we did Jeremy's pistol.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah.
You could. I couldn't believe
Wow.
Jeremy's pistol today.
Wow. I've seen a lot of pistols, and this was unique.
So Jeremy saved me today.
Indeed.
I don't know if you noticed this today, but he really saved my ass today.
Yeah, what?
So I have a Pelican that's basically a flight. So all my gear and everything, I have a flight one, and then I have a drive-in kit. So I have a bunch of slings, and I do have personal favorites, so I just pick out of, and I was flying last, so I have everything in my flight bag, not my, my driving bag. So I just got in, left, didn't realize I didn't have a sling, and I was running the 2-gun event. So I went over to Jeremy, and Jeremy's like, "Oh yeah, I got you," and he gave me like a Blue Force gear, so I could actually do the event. But I told him, "I appreciate you doing the sling, but I will never take that Glock. If I don't have a handgun and I need to shoot that day," I said, "I'm not asking you for that Glock." And it just had a bunch of we'll just say it, Dick's, spray painted all over it.
Not spray painted. That's all Cerakote.
That's Cerakote. He paid for that. He paid paper money.
Wow.
I Cerakote.
You did.
I did.
Okay. See, I like that even more.
Yeah.
If he went out to a company and he had that done.
Oh, he paid for the Cerakote. He paid for the oven time, but I did the work. Yeah.
Well, he did a great job. You know, there's variations.
Oh, yeah.
There's different colors. You were inclusive.
Well, it's midnight camouflage, and the pattern is various penises.
Yeah, and then it had what?
It's the dick.
Some sort of red dot on the right side.
So
much.
So the whole idea was to make this thing just as extravagant and as stupid as it could be, right? So I don't know where the fuck
he did a great job.
So he found this. It's a 4 Picatinny rail thing that mounts on the front of your Glock.
Yeah.
So you still have the bottom Picatinny, and you have 2 Picatinnies on the side and one on the top. And it's a longer.
It attached to the bottom pick rail, and then it had pick on the top and the sides.
Yeah. So but it's still 4 pick.
Yeah.
Right? Because where it attaches, it has a pick rail attachment.
Yeah.
So he got like some. Now the flashlight that's on the side, I donated that. That's an expensive flashlight mod.
Well, I was gonna say
it's the Safariland clamshell one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're great because
Oh, my
I bought one because we had them on the police department, and I bought one, but they don't work with my my arms mounts because I'm old, so I have a bunch of Dick Swans crap all over my guns.
Yeah.
So and it doesn't work with them because they're too wide.
Yeah.
So I loaned it to him. So I gave it to him. So he's got a flashlight on there, and then he found I don't want to say it's like a Bushnell or something. It's like a Kmart $40.
It was not made in the
internal
USA.
razor. Oh yeah. So to put a laser on there, and then we're trying to figure out because he wanted to put a K grip on the bottom, but then he figured ATF would come beat on him for it being a short barrel rifle, which is one of the stupidest rules ever.
Yeah.
But then, so
that's fair though.
So we're thinking about putting like a set of 45-degree offset M16 sights on the top pick rail. But the whole idea was just to get this thing to be as idiotic and asinine as possible.
He 100% achieved that.
Yes.
Yeah, we did it. Well, and of course it's all because we're getting ready to do a series of reels and a series of shorts.
Yeah.
For everybody in the crew's doing one.
Okay.
Lee's got one. So
Okay.
Lee's reels are going to be out. First Sergeant is disappointed in you. So it's just going to be Lee with his coffee cup and us doing a bunch of stupid shit. And him just dumping his coffee out, storming away, disgusted with his pack of jackasses.
Oh my goodness.
But Jeremy's working on his competition setup to teach you how to be a competition shooter and have all the cool
Was it a Glock 17 or a Glock 34?
It's not even Glock.
Oh, it's a
flock.
Yeah.
It's a flock, 17 with all kinds of weird shit, and it's literally all made out of spare parts. It was an 80% lower that he bought years ago.
Yeah.
And then milled it out, and then was like, "Yeah, this," and he just threw it in a drawer. And then he remembered that he had it. He was like, "Oh, we could do this."
Yeah.
And then, a bourbon-fueled thing, and you're like, "They should cover it in this."
It's a break.
I'm like, we could do that. I know a guy.
Jeremy's think tank over here.
Yeah.
Masterpiece.
Yeah, all the wives are like, "There's no adult supervision over there."
Yeah.
No, not really. Every now and again, Amy comes over and runs the camera, and that's about as close as it gets to adult supervision.
Yeah.
But she's like, "No, I'm just gonna let them. I'm gonna watch these chimpanzees set themselves on fire." But yeah, so there's some fun stuff. We have a great time. Of course, I had a great time in the military. I had a great time as a cop, and now I'm literally running a business, hanging out with my friends, and shooting guns, having a good time. And then I have friends who come from all over the country to come hang out with us and eat pizza and shoot guns and shoot the shit. And yeah, I mean, so
it's a tough life.
Dude, I'm living the life of Riley, Yeah, so if I don't know how I'd get any better. Well, I take that back. If Warren Buffett wanted to build me a range on the back of the property, not even Warren Buffett, really. I mean, anybody who's a millionaire. There's got to be a millionaire out there. If you want to build a range, we've already got the executive range started. Oh, you guys didn't see it too. So we've expanded the executive range.
Oh, really?
Since the last time you were here. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's a good It's so where we were doing the moving through.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So I've pushed off about 7-8 yards to the left, and we're leveling all that up.
Oh wow.
And then we're going to push all the way back as soon as that is. So it'll be, and we're going to knock everything down next to the fence.
Okay.
So the goal is, it'll be 75 yards deep and about 40 yards wide.
Wow.
And then we'll still also be able to move back and make a 130-yard shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
I
awesome.
think
Lets you do a lot more.
Yeah, I think we're
Yeah.
going to cut some trees down, and I want to get like a either a 20 or a 40-foot Connex box
Mhm.
for storage,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to build a porch off
Yeah.
of it so we can stand under it if it's raining.
Very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
so-
That's gonna be great.
Yeah, so you guys will be out here shooting on that, I'm sure.
Mhm.
You guys get out here and have a good time.
It's always fun.
Run out and run some videos. You can bring some guns out and we can tear them up.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have any guns.
No. Yeah. It was fun though.
That's right. Yeah, so you're like me. So you don't have any guns, but your company has guns.
I don't know what happened. People ask me how many or I like the best ones are when I go into gun stores. So this is an actual hobby of mine. I will go into a Sportsman's Warehouse or Cabela's or whatever, and I will act like I know absolutely nothing. I have gotten probably 24 articles that I've written just from people saying incredibly stupid things.
Oh, yeah.
And they act like they're knowledge experts, and they're not.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I will tell people, in short, I'll tell people, hey, I don't have any guns. I'm just getting into guns. Tell me, what do you think I should do? And then I just leave them there. And I let them
That's awesome.
unveil themselves to me. I really enjoy it too.
That's awesome.
So I'll do that. Just people who are interested in guns. And I'm a lot nicer to those people, obviously. You know, they talk. I just see what their base knowledge is, and I'll just ask them, well, what do you have any guns? No. If you could have anything, what would you want? And that's usually a lot more positive experience. But yeah, some of the guys at the stores, they'll tell me, the best thing you need is a...
Let's say $590.
You
You should get a Mossberg 590.
The 590 is too expensive. You got to get the 500 or the Maverick 88 for home defense because that sound, it'll stop any intruder in their tracks. That's my favorite. I get that one a lot. Somebody told me one of the best concealed carry guns is a 2-shot. What's it
The
called?
Bond
Derringer.
arms.
Yeah, like the Bond arms and
Yeah.
Derringers. He's like, all you need is 2 shots.
What you need is a judge.
Yeah.
Get you a
Yeah.
judge.
Yeah. There's so many different things that
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm weird, but if you guys get bored and you know a decent amount about firearms, just do it at least once.
Yeah. Or go talk to a politician.
No,
You want to hear some stupid answers? Ask a
no, that's too
politician about
frustrating.
guns.
That's just demoralizing to me. I don't have fun with that.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming out, guys. Anything else you guys want to cover? Anything you want to throw out there?
No.
I think we've covered a lot of ground. I think
All right. Well, I
we've
appreciate
probably pissed off a few people. I'm sorry, any Bond owners or Maverick 88 owners, any gun shop workers.
Yeah. Yeah. Bursts of Thunderers suck.
Yep.
Got to throw that out to make sure we offend somebody.
Yeah.
But it's in the name. Feeling shirt while you wait. So
It bursts. Yeah.
if they're paying attention, they should hear this shit.
I mean, it's just a copy of a Walther PP, and
Not even a good.
my Walther PP. The most interesting thing about my Walther PP is that it went full auto because the safety selector got worn down.
I bet that's
Really?
I bet that's unpleasant.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a short burst. It emptied the magazine,
Yeah.
which
Wow.
8 rounds. It's manageable.
Well, so did I ever tell you I used to have a Walther PPK
no,
because badass gun,
Yeah.
James Bond gun.
James Bond. Yeah.
Yeah. So mine got stolen. Right. Got stolen, and the dude shot his girlfriend with it 8 times in the chest from like this distance, and she drove herself to the hospital.
Wow.
funny.
And they plucked the silver tips out of her ample bosom,
Wow.
butterflied her up, and sent her home. And when I got the gun back after the trial,
Yeah.
I took it to a gun show and I sold it to somebody that I didn't know or care about. And I haven't had a 380 since then. And so I railed against 380s for such. No need to have a 380. And I said there was no need for have a 380 because you can get a full size 9mm in almost the same size package.
Yeah.
And SIG was listening. They came out with the 365 family, and all of your 380s are now entirely obsolete.
Worthless.
Yes. I mean, yeah. You got to hit somebody with them, maybe.
Yeah.
Do some damage.
Yeah.
380. Well, I guess it's better than harsh language. 380.
Yeah.
It's better than a 25. Yeah. There you go. There's the sales slogan. See, I could be a guest on Mad Men.
Yeah. Expert advice here.
That's it.
Any life advice from you?
Yeah.
Don't purse carry.
Don't purse carry.
I like it.
There you go. Well, Marcee.Mae said don't purse carry. Well, then you got to listen because Marcee.Mae came out and kicked ass. I think you took second overall today in Second Saturday.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
And
It was fun today.
And there were some sponsored shooters there.
There were.
And you smoked them. And that made me very, very happy. So thank you. Thank you for
It
those
was
moments
fun.
of joy.
It was good stages. Had a good time.
Mine would be, don't be a bad instructor. Don't put bad information out there because you want to make some money. And don't be a bad gun sales guy at the counter because no one likes you. You're all dirtbags.
Yeah. Exactly.
And don't buy a Springfield XD because they're terrible.
Oh, no.
Oh, Croatian Glock?
Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. What were they thinking?
you can do better. Do better.
Look, if you're thinking about buying a Springfield XD, just go all in and go buy a Smith Sigma.
Yeah,
Remember that
Yeah.
piece of shit?
they paid Glock.
Whoa, no, they didn't pay Glock. They got paid. Glock got
They
paid.
were forced to pay Glock.
Damn, they got done. They got done bad. But they deserved it. And they deserved it for building a gun that was that big a piece of shit.
But it's built to a price point, right? I mean,
Yeah,
that is
still.
reliably. That is probably when I was a bad gun store employee, but I wasn't. But when I worked behind a counter, if somebody came in and said I had $260 to buy a gun, that's the gun I gave. Like at the price point, it's reliable. It had a terrible.
Much as it pains me to say that, why didn't you just go, come back next month with 325 and buy one of these bulky ass
Listen,
blocky
I was working on
Glocks?
commission. I didn't have options. I always told
You're
people,
like, commission on $200 is better commission on no dollars. Hey, we do what we
Wow.
must.
this is years ago. I mean, it just.
You're like, I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction, but
Listen, you're gonna buy some
for the
shitty
shit money you got,
yeah.
look, this is the most shiny turd you can buy. We polished this turd. This is what this is getting. Yeah.
But we would get like department trade-ins all the time,
Oh yeah.
and we would just offload those. They
Look,
would,
those were beat to shit.
yeah, but they would work, and even shot out and just murdered out, and all the finish was gone. They were still better than most of the options in that price point.
Wow.
I got $250. I want to buy this Sigma. Well, look, buy 2 high points.
Hey, I will say this: out of all the firearms I own, one of the most interesting is my high point.
Is it an old high point target pistol?
It is a 380 compensated high point. And I got it for $68 from a used counter.
Wow.
And I picked it up and it reeked of like that trailer, like cat pee cigarette smell. And I had it for almost 10 years and it still smells like that.
Wow.
And it's
I'd boil it.
it's,
I'd boil it in vinegar.
it's so good. It would disintegrate. You can't do that.
So Mike Breeny and I are working on this because we always make fun of stuff. So we were going to end this and then we would have this rabbit hole. So somewhere along the line, I don't know how he got it, he has a llama, I guess the preferred Yama,
Yeah.
but it's the 1911 380.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got one, and it's a side project of mine. We're manufacturing a bump beaver tail, extended beaver tail safety for it. We're creating a funnel, a magwell funnel,
Yeah.
and we're going to Cerakote it. We're going to trick it out. I'm going to compensate. I'm going to port it, and we're going to make it a Day of the Dead comp gun
Wow.
with the little
That's-
skulls and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And Mike's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, I just want to be able to go, look at this thing. People go, "Holy shit!" And go, "Yeah, we made that at Firearms Performance Enhancement."
Yeah.
And they go, "Well, why?" And you go,
Because what else are you
I
going
mean,
to do?
why not? It's a llama. What else are you gonna do?
What
Right?
else are you going to do with it?
Probably got a body on it, but yeah. So I want to do I think we're gonna do as we go through it. I think I want to do a follow through on it because just a weird idea.
Yeah.
But he was like, "What should we do with this?" I said, "Do a Day of the Gun day, do a Day of the Dead gun, and make a comp gun out of it." And he goes,
Who didn't love you as a child?
wrong with
yeah.
"Be cool." All right,
Oh,
cool.
man.
So, awesome words of wisdom. Awesome hanging out with you guys. Again, tell everybody where they can find you.
Just search fridge operator, and all my famous hands will pop up on the interwebs.
There you go.
Not my face, but sorry.
Marcee.Mae on Instagram, or you can see me on Ballistic Boss, which is our group of women competitive shooters in the online community. So, yep.
Outstanding. Well, hope you found this as entertaining as we did. If you got your feelings hurt, well, that's on you. If you didn't, well, then you're probably resilient and you're probably a boomer. All right, so thanks again for coming out. It's always good to see you guys. Always good hanging out with you guys.
Good to
Thank
see you.
you.
Everybody be safe out there, and we will see you next time. Have fun editing this, Lee. Cool. How do you go about looking for and determining whether or not you want to get training from an organization or from a person? What's kind of your locating and then vetting process for that? How do you figure that out?
You can go first.
So with me, I have a little bit different situation because I know more people gun related than most, so I can just usually ask around. That's the first thing I do. Hey, the people that travel and train and shoot for their job, that's who I'll start with. What have you heard about X trainer? Are they good? Is it worth the price? Things like that. It really starts to get murky when you don't know what, and if you're just coming in, right? You just bought your first gun. You're a woman who wants to protect themselves, and you don't know who a good trainer is. That's when the water starts to get gray.